Good morning. It's 5:43. I've been wanting to do this blog for a little while now, and just my normal day. So I start my morning ride with a double shot.
I just wanna stay in the sun where I find. I know it's hard sometimes. Pieces of peace in the sun's piece.
So there is also a practical reason why I drink coffee and start off in the morning. One, because I love it and it's great, but the second thing is I find that if I start with something warm, it could be coffee or it could be tea or anything like that early in the morning, it gets my esophagus kind of ready to get some food. And so before I go out on my morning ride, I'll try and grab a cup of coffee before I take off. So perfect draw. Hydration, super important. So I got my water bottle filled. I'm gonna get ready to go on my ride.
On this workout, I'm going to be going out for an hour-long ride, which is my normal workout. And one of the important things I have on every time I go for a ride is my road ID, which, just in case somebody finds me passed out on the side of the road, they know that I'm hypoglycemic. I keep candy actually in the back of my saddlebag. And you also see that I also have a cycling computer, which is tied to my heart rate monitor, as well as my power meter on my cranks. It just lets me know how many calories I've burned, so I can make up those calories a little bit later.
So I'm taking my time on my ride.
Unfortunately, with the GoPro mount that I had, it had a little bit of a hard time picking up the recording, but I was talking about how for the past month I've been switched over to a low-carb diet because I was going through a lot of hypoglycemia, where a few weeks ago I discovered that as I was taking my blood sugar, that my blood sugar was jumping up into the 200s, like 224, somewhere in there, and then it would, in a matter of an hour and a half, dip down into the low 50s. And so when I went to the doctor, he referred that I go see an endocrinologist to confirm that it was hypoglycemia and not my pancreas. And so all of my labs kind of showed that I had nothing wrong with my pancreas, but that I was reacting to these spikes in blood sugar, and then my insulin was responding to that. And so as a result, my doctor had me switch over to a low-carb diet, and that is staying under 50 grams of carbs per day, which was incredibly difficult for the first few weeks, because under 50 grams it's just so hard when your body's trying to make that adjustment. But since then I've been feeling pretty good a few weeks out, and surprisingly I noticed as I was driving in the car a few weeks later that my wife and I were talking, and I realized I haven't had bile reflux since I switched to a low-carb diet. And I went online and looked it up, and lo and behold, one of the things that they do for people who have bile reflux is switch them to a low-carb diet. So so far it's so good, and I feel like my body is finally making the adjustment about 4 weeks out. This is Felicity. It's my youngest. She's about to be 1 next week. Say hi. Hi, good job. Hi, sweetie. Okay, girls are ready to go. You're gonna meet my oldest. This is Evangeline.
Hi.
Evangeline's gonna be 4 here pretty soon. Okay, we are all packed up and ready for school. I've got my Bulletproof coffee in my little tumbler here. Now, Bulletproof, I think in everyone's mind kind of sounds a little gross, because it's basically brewed coffee with, the original recipe says 2 tablespoons of butter and some coconut oil. I kind of changed mine up a little bit. I use only a tablespoon of butter, and I use 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, only because I think that actually tastes better. So I know at first the Bulletproof coffee kind of sounds kind of gross, because you think, you know, why is butter, you know, in coffee? But I think for me, because I make my own butter with heavy whipping cream, for me it's no different than anybody anybody who puts, you know, whipping cream inside their coffee. Now, obviously, a tablespoon of butter is a little bit more, but it kind of acts as a meal replacement a little bit. But it ends up being something like, you know, 200 calories for the Bulletproof coffee, and I find that the caffeine kind of releases into my system just a little bit better. So that's kind of what I think about that, and it kind of helps me kind of jumpstart my day, especially when I'm trying to get out of the house real quick. So the other options I kind of have for breakfast sometimes is to do a couple egg whites, probably about 4, given what I have in a little carton, and then use some kind of protein like Canadian bacon, cheese, and I make a little omelet out of it, and then get the kids out the door. But sometimes you just run out of time, like today, and so you kind of have to do things quick, and the Bulletproof is a great option for that. So on our way to school, and all right, so we're back in the car. I realized I forgot my lunch this morning when I left the house, which would have been a simple piece of chicken or whatever. So I'm on my way over to Whole Foods, and we're gonna see what they have for lunch options. Well, hey, we are back in the car, and just spent the morning at work, and I realized that I had left my lunch all the way at home, and so now I am going over to Whole Foods to pick up stuff for lunch, and also things to make dinner with. So today we had a staff meeting at the church. I'm a pastor, and so they gather around the whole staff every single Tuesday, and on the first Tuesday of the month we kind of have like a little bit of a brunch thing. So we had Panera come and cater some breakfast sandwiches and stuff, and so for my little mid-morning snack I got to enjoy a fried egg and some bacon, and there was a little bit of cheese, and then I just toss out the bread, so it's all good. Sometimes you miss bread, but I think, you know, about 4 weeks into it, so far so good. All right, Whole Foods time. Okay, so we're at Whole Foods. I call this place Full Paychecks because it's kind of expensive, but it's close to my work, and I can walk here and know I can get some pretty good food. I always try and keep some snacks in my office, so I always get like their mixed deluxe nuts, and that way I always have something to eat when I'm cruising around the office, and it makes it a little bit easier to keep up my calories for the day.
Okay, back in my office, and having a little bit of a meal of rotisserie chicken. Perfect part of a low-carb diet. And these are the mixed nuts I've been telling you about. I didn't really know this, but apparently every single nut has a different kind of carbohydrate amount. And cashews actually have the most. So I'm trying to pick one. It's got 5 grams of carbs for the cup. It's not too bad. And I just keep these little butter pouches on hand, just in case.
Well, that's basically the end of my day. For dinner, we went to a Vietnamese place where I got a grilled chicken bowl. Again, lots of chicken. I eat lots of chicken, and I give my noodles to my daughter, who loves it. That's my wife, Kate, in the background, who has been amazing, the unsung hero. As in the case with lots of cancer patients, that the caregivers are the unsung heroes, and she's been absolutely amazing. So that's the end of my video, and if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them, and we hope to see you in the next video blog. Bye.